Alright guys, I'm back. Today I'm just going to try and do a quick video. I set up a mypin PID for my pot here. I got the idea for it from Johnny's Reloading Bench on YouTube. I think he did 2 or 3 videos, absolutely excellent videos. The setup and the build of his PID is 100% better than my build, and well, I wouldn't call it a build, than my setup of the PID. I tend to like to do things as inexpensively as possible, and by no means, is this the right way or the best way to do this. This is just how I did it. For right now, it's working for me. You could do it however you'd like. This is more or less meant to be like guidelines. I'm not trying to tell you how to do it, but if you go on Amazon, there's a mypin TA. If you type in the search bar TA4/SSR, it'll come up. I think it's like the 3rd selection down. Is AGP Tech is the company that sells it. So if you click that link and scroll to the center, it gives you the PID and 25 amp SSR and a K-type thermocouple. It's like it's just under $50. Order that, that'll get you started. Pretty much what I did is I took a cord off of a vacuum, and I have to rewire this because I know I could do it without this cord. I can do it with just the cord from the pot, but at the time I was just trying to get it together, so I did it. So on the TA4-SSR, pins 1 and 2 are 120 volt or 110, whatever. Pretty much it's, regular house plug, so you wire that up. Now if you wire it up backwards, like I did the first time, it'll come on and set a code. So the screen will read like an erroneous reading to tell you it's a code. Flip the leads, hopefully that'll work. Pins 3 and 4 are out, and by out it's like a voltage that it sends out to the SSR to close the contact. Well, it's technically not a contact, it's a solid state relay, but to close the circuit in the relay. So they're positive and negative. I wasn't sure what that meant, but I believe the SSR has positive and negative on the terminals. So pin 3 on the PID goes to pin 4 on the SSR, or terminal 4 rather, and terminal 4 on the PID goes to terminal 3 on the SSR. And I just have the SSR stuck back here. All I did to hook up the solid state relay, if you take off your panel up here, on the pot, you have the switch. One of the terminals from the switch goes to this contact right here. This goes to the element in the pot. So I unplugged the element from the pot and took the pin that was right here on this thermal switch, and I just hooked it right up to the hooked it right up to the heating element in the pot. Now what I did is I left the cord on the pot, and I pretty much took the solid state relay. You guys really can't see that at all. I took the solid state relay, and all I did was, it's pretty much like positive and negative. It doesn't matter which one you cut. You're pretty much just trying to break the circuit. So all I did was split the wiring here, so it comes like kind of glued together with the insulation. Split it, cut the wiring. One side goes to one side, or one terminal of the SSR, the other side goes to the other terminal on the solid state relay. And all you're doing is, when this relay's off or not in the closed position, you're pretty much making an open circuit. When the PID powers up and it commands that to close, or close the circuit rather, then all you're doing is letting that power flow through the solid state relay, which is a 25 amp relay, so I kind of feel like it could possibly be a fuse, even though it isn't. It allows it to flow through the relay, and pretty much you're making a circuit with the pot, and you're running the element that way. Now, pins, 7 and 8 are for the thermocouple. Now, your colors could be different, but I believe it's the red one goes, or on this, the red one on the thermocouple, the red connector goes to pin 8 and the blue connector goes to pin 7. I honestly forget how I figured that out. So we'll get back to that if I remember. Like I said, you could probably take the cord off the pot and pretty much just loop the cord through this, through the PID, instead of having a separate cord for the PID. I kind of did it as like a safety feature. So I unplug the pot first all the time and it shuts the power down, and I kind of watch my temperature just to see what it does. Not that it makes a huge difference. And then I'll unplug the PID afterwards, or vice versa. Either way, you should be opening the circuit in the SSR. A lot of guys put fuses on it, and keep in mind, I think this thing's, I wouldn't think at least that this thing would draw much more than 15 amps on the highest setting with all the draw in the world. So at most, I would put a 15 amp fuse on this circuit. I don't really see a need to put a fuse on the circuit for the PID power itself. I could be wrong. I really don't see a need to. The only place I would put a fuse is on the circuit for your pot, and I would probably, honestly, I would do it between the pot and the SSR, just because if the pot's drawing enough amperage, I would want it to pop that fuse before it damages the SSR. Now granted, an SSR, I think it's like $7 or $8, so it's not extremely expensive, but to me, I'd rather have it right before the load, and the load being the coil. The PID, I don't think puts a whole lot of load. It's pretty much powering up an LED screen, and not an LED. It's pretty much powering up the screen, and it's putting out a small voltage to the SSR, so I didn't think it needed a fuse. I could be wrong. It might need one. I didn't put fuses on either side because the breakers in my house are 15 amp breakers. So if it's going to put too much load on the circuit, it'll pop a break, hopefully pop a breaker in my box. But I wouldn't count on that. I'm not, an electrical guy. I don't know everything about electrical. So you do it as you think it needs to be done to your preferences. As far as the thermocouple, I got this idea from Elvis Ammo. He actually took the pot itself out. So if you take all these screws off and take the spout adjustment and the handle off, it's a little stuck in there, but you can work the pot out. It takes a little bit of effort. And then all I did was slid one of these plates out and drilled a hole in the base of the pot because I want to zip tie or somehow make nice restraint or a nice clamp and clamp this thermocouple wiring somewhere. And all I did was, there's a nut on the spout of the pot, so I pretty much unscrewed that nut and just, well, I shouldn't get to that first. The thermocouple comes with this on the end of it, and all it's held in with is a little, where's my thing? That little pinch right there is the only thing holding the wiring in. So you could either elect to work it out nice and slow and try not to damage it, or you can try and open that up ever so slightly. This is actually really stiff metal, so it didn't want to open up for me that easily. But I got it enough where I could kind of work the wiring out. I pulled it out, and all I did was I stuck it under that nut, tightened the nut down, and so far, between the reading in here, or at the spout rather, and the reading in the pot, which I can compare with another thermocouple I have, I really don't see enough of a difference to be concerned about it. I think it ended up being like on average like maybe 5 degrees or 8 degrees. I didn't put the thermocouple in the pot because when I flux in the pot or I try and mix or drop screws back in, it always seems to be in the way, and I kind of wanted to keep around this pot as clean as possible. So I mean, that's just how I did it. If you guys need more information or anything, just post a comment and I'll see if I can help out at all. I'm pretty sure I covered everything to do with it. Yeah, if there's any more information needed, please comment, and I'll try and get an answer up there for you as quick as I can. Good luck.